The forgotten village. There are places where time seems to stop, where footsteps disappear before they can leave an echo, and where silence itself feels alive. One such place lay deep within the northern highlands, hidden behind layers of fog and crooked pine trees. A village no maps recorded anymore. Travelers spoke of it in whispers, always at night and always with a certain unease, as though even the memory of it carried a curse. Those who dared to search for it usually came back empty-handed. Some never returned at all. The origins of the village were buried in fragments of folklore. It was said that long ago, the land had been thriving, a small but prosperous settlement, where people tilled the soil, traded herbs, and lived close to nature. But then, something happened. No one knew whether it was famine, disease, or something far more sinister. The villagers disappeared almost overnight, their homes abandoned, their tools left where they fell, their lives frozen in mid-motion. Legends claimed that on certain nights, when the fog was at its heaviest, the forgotten village would reveal itself to strangers. Those unlucky enough to wander in would become part of its silence, swallowed without trace. The truth was far darker. Beyond the forest and down a broken trail, the village sat sunken in the earth, its roofs sagging, its wooden fences warped with age, and its windows gaping like eyeless sockets. Weeds strangled every path, and the air carried a smell of rot that never faded, no matter the season. At the center stood a well, dry for centuries, but still reeking of damp earth and something metallic beneath. Ravens circled it endlessly, yet no one ever saw them land. The homes around it remained strangely preserved, their interiors untouched by dust, as though someone or something still tended to them in secret. Travelers who had stumbled into the village often spoke of a strange sensation, the feeling of being watched from every direction at once. Their shadows seemed longer, stretched unnaturally by an unseen light, even when the sky was overcast. Some claimed they heard footsteps behind them, but found no one when they turned. Others described faint murmurs, like an ancient chant carried on the wind, yet impossible to trace. Those who lingered too long often found themselves unable to leave. Paths that seemed familiar would twist into endless loops, bringing them back to the same cracked fountain, the same leaning house, the same broken cart lying forever in the mud. The well was said to be the heart of it all. Long ago, a drought had struck the land, and the villagers, desperate, had turned to old rituals for water. In their fear and hunger, they performed a ceremony that required a sacrifice. Some said it was a child, others a stranger who had wandered too close. Whatever it was, the blood spilled into the well, and the water rose again. But the cost was too great. From then on, the well demanded more, whispering hunger into the minds of the villagers, until they became captives of their own offering. One by one, they were consumed not by thirst, but by the endless hunger of the soil. What remained were not living villagers, but shadows tethered to the place, cursed to linger for eternity. When night fell, the village truly awakened. Faint lanterns would flicker in windows where no hands lit them. Doors creaked open and closed. Without wind, the sound of hushed laughter echoed between the houses, though no children had lived there for centuries. Some travelers, paralyzed by fear, had seen ghostly figures in tattered clothes, wandering the narrow lanes, faces pale, eyes hollow, movements slow and jerking, as though imitating life but never truly alive. They would drift toward the well and vanish into its depths, only to appear again behind the lost wanderer, closer each time. Those who tried to leave at night rarely succeeded. The forest itself bent around the village, twisting paths until exhaustion forced victims back to the same square. It was said that the only escape was to never look back once you found the way out. To glance even once over your shoulder was to invite the village to follow you home, its shadows seeping into your footsteps, waiting until you slept to finish what it had begun. Over the centuries, the village became a silent predator, luring the curious, the greedy, and the lost. Hunters, scholars, thrill seekers, many came thinking themselves clever, and none returned. Their possessions were sometimes found weeks later at the forest's edge: a cracked compass, a satchel with torn straps, a journal with the last words scrawled in trembling ink. The well is watching, yet the hunger of the forgotten village was endless. It thrived not only on the lives it claimed, but also on the memory it erased. For every person who vanished there, the world outside soon forgot their name. Families who once grieved would one day wake up with no recollection of ever having a loved one. The village fed not only on flesh and soul, but on remembrance itself, ensuring that no trace of its victims would remain. That was its true curse, an erasure, deeper than death, and so, it waits. Shrouded in mist, hidden from maps, breathing through silence, it lies patiently for the next set of footsteps to stray too far into the forest. Perhaps tonight, perhaps tomorrow, another wanderer will follow the whispers and see the lanterns flickering in the distance. And when they do, the forgotten village will remember them, even as the world forgets.